So recently I came across a very interesting case where a surgeon wanted us to segment a CV junction along with the arteries because there was some defect on that area, and surgeon wanted to do the preoperative planning. So I'm showing you here that how that complex segmentation was done using MySegmenter. So what I did is I imported the two images where one is giving me all the bone related information, and one image that gives me essentially bone along with the vasculatures and all. So you can see here, see aorta is visible and all the cranial vasculature is also captured here. So what we will do is from the first image here, we will segment all the information in one mask with bone plus soft tissues and vasculatures, and then we will try to separate and will segment it where everything distinctively will be visible. So we will have the mask of arteries as well, and we will have the mask of bone and all. So first let us start with the creating normal marks. So when I hit a plus here, it captures automatically nicely whatever the information is visible on this particular bone threshold, which has automatic setup of 226237071 HU units. So when I hit apply and let's on 3D, so it will give me the basic mask of how the stuff are inside a patient. So then I can resort to this island effect. I can click anywhere on the 2D view and it will give me one big island, that is where everything is connected. So as we can see here, we have vasculatures, aortic networks and arteries and everything that is inside the body. So we'll leave this as of now to here. So I will just rename this mask as bone and arteries, let's say. So then we will switch to the other image and we'll off here. We'll switch to the other data set where I have all the bone related information that I require. So here I will capture automatically, it captures the bone and we don't have any vasculature present, so it captures all the bone related information nicely. And then we hit 3D here and it creates a nice representation of all the bone anatomy, bone related anatomies. So again, same, I hit island and it will remove everything else, and one big island will remain there. Okay, so you can see that if we go to the previous slide, sorry, let me off this. So if we go to the initial slide, so this is where the bone and arteries both present. And now if I switch over to this other series, we have only bone. Okay, so now here I will convert this into STL using this optimum result. So it will take some a fraction of a second, because it calculates and creates triangles from the mask that we have used as an input, and it's already a very big region of interest. So once it is done, what we will do is we will go back to the initial series where we have arteries and bone, and we'll try to segment bone out of it, and we will create a separate mask for everything. Okay, so here it is 3D. Now what we are looking at now in 3D window is an STL, basically a triangle file, if you can see. So now let's resort to the original image and let's create this. So for sake of visibility, I will change the color of it so the bifurcation can be a little better. So you can see that it has if I click on 2D here, it perfectly wraps around the bony structure here. So though I have segmented it from the different series, but the CT scan has been taken well and it's a very good data, so it automatically, software automatically aligns it if we switch to the different data set as well. So now what I need is I want all the vasculature related information from this mask. So I needed to create a boolean which can or negative, which can remove out all the mask that is related to bone. So I can use the functionality provided by MySegmenter, which helps converting models into a segment. So when I click that, whatever the STL file was there, it will transfer that information at mask level. Okay, so now I have mask for bone related information, and I have whole information that has bone and arteries and everything. So now I will select this bone and arteries at parent mask. I'll resort to boolean and I will minus the latest one. Okay, so that will give me a nice information where only vasculature is properly captured. Okay, so now we can see that the data is little noisy here. Okay, so what we will do now is we will edit it first till the extent we want. So let's say this, I don't want the scapula related stuff and all. So I'll hit to the edit segment. I will quickly erase directly in 3D by using a lasso brush. Okay, and I will use, then again I'll go back to it and I will use island effect once again. But now my region or my area of interest will be this vasculatures. So I can close it. I'll again can use this. Okay, and this gives me a little more clear representation of the arteries. So now again I want to go into more clear side of the segmentation that will be done by using this opening operation. I give the parameters at 2 mm and let's see what happens. Oops, I mistakenly selected a different mask. So it is a red flag that if you want to perform a segmentation, you need to select a proper mask over here. So again, when I hit apply, it clears out the all other non-required parts and it gives me a very nice cranial vasculature, which is my area of interest is in and around CV junction. So again, you might have presumed that we will use island effect once again. So that will lead me to this nice vasculature that is in and around the cranial and CV junction. So again, I'll go back to the bone related stuff. So you can see that it has properly blended into the bone anatomy. So that's how MySegmenter can be really useful. And not only that, you can toggle the transparency by clicking here as well, and it will show you that how that arteries are interacting with the other anatomies. Okay, so let us go one layer deeper into it, and I want to focus on cervical spine, uh, because it is problem is over here. As you can clearly see that it is misaligned. So I don't want this all areas, and I just want to focus on the areas which are of interest to me. So I will this very good, or I can say very useful tool this MySegmenter offers is it allows you to do a lot on 3D itself directly. So that is very easier in such of the complex cases. So let's see, I was allowed to do the direct cut operation on the main 3D mask itself. So let's say I'll remove the information from here. Okay, so that will leave me to the cervical spine, and I will for the reference I will add one more vertebra of the thoracic spine as well. Okay, so now again I can remove this. I can quickly edit on 3D itself. Okay, and let's see, for now I'm good with this. So I have this little more intrusions, little more openings and all, but I can, rather than using and wasting the time on 2D edits, I can use always island effect. That will give me a very nice clean island that will be that will be free from all the scatters and all. So if you can see here, it has given me a spine and I have the vascular structure here. Okay, so now again, let's go a little deeper because my area of interest is spine and I still have skull related information in my mask present over here. It has maxilla, mandible and cranial and all. So let's quickly jump to the split segment. Here is MySegmenter offers an interesting option that you can directly select by going on 3D. So let's say my blue mask I dedicate to the spine, so I can make a selection over here for it to be selected, and then I can adjust my viewpoints, and by going to that particular viewpoint I can select the entire spine that is of my interest. And you might have observed that it has penetrated through the other areas which are not required. So simply I can switch over from paint to erase, and by simple selection I can remove those selected areas which are not required. And also you can see that some of the areas which are not included, so again I can modify my selection here a little and it will be added. So let's say now I'm fine with my spine related separation. Okay, and I will see it from all the perspective views that if I'm not missing anything. So see if there is a little more room for improvement here, so I will use that again to improve that selection. Okay, so now let's say I'm fine for the selection as of now for the spine part. Now I will switch over to the next mask that I will dedicate to separate skull. So I'll set up a view of my comfort, and I will just pan my mouse to it, and I will try to select as big area as I can in the one go. Then I can always modify my selection by going into more precise views, and by translating and rotating and zooming in and zooming out I can make my selection more accurate, and I can pay attention to the details more. Okay, so let's say I can have a little more concentration on the joints where the anatomies are joining with one another. Okay, so this is the last piece of edit. Okay, so let's say now I am fine with my selection. I can simply initialize it, and by clicking on here the 3D preview and adjusting the transparency of it, it will give me the exact idea that how splitting is happening. And moreover, I can directly see it into 2D itself. Okay, so see that mask has properly transferred as an information, it has transferred over 2D images as well. So if I am fine with this, I can hit apply, and I will have those two separate entities ready for me. Okay, so now let's say I give here cervical spine. I can give it name, and I can name this. Okay, and I can name this as a skull. Okay, and this can become my arteries. So I will name this as arteries. Okay, so now I will just toggle the transparency a little, and it will show me all the required stuff over here. So let's say now I'm good with mask and I want to use this to create STL file which required to create the 3D itself. Okay, so so my eye is capturing a little more noise over here, or some loose pixels. So as a segmenter, sometimes you don't feel comfortable if you see this. So sorry, but again I'll use island effect one more time, and I will change the name so that I cannot get confused. Okay, so now this skull, this spine, and this arteries, I will use all these masks to create a 3D or an STL file. Okay, so I'll convert this segments by clicking on this button. First, I need to close this island. I'll select all the masks together, not the old one, but this one. Yeah. And when I simply hit this convert segment to model, it has presets that are basically research from the back end, that these parameters give you much more robust output and it is much more accurate output according to anatomy. And when can we hit apply, and it will create an STL file, or we can say mesh file, out of the mask. So I'll close this, I'll maximize this, and we'll go to it. This is the older one from the previous segmentation where I imported the bone related information from here. Okay, so now I click on 2D visibility. It will also show me that how 2D contour is matching with the anatomy. So see that it is very clean. It is free from overlap and all, and it's capturing well. So once I'm fine with it, I can go ahead and export these as an STL file at my desired location. Let's say I want to it on be on the desktop, and you know I can save it, and they will export everything to my desktop. And from here on, I can go to 3D printing itself, give it to surgeon, and surgeon can use those STL file or either this segmentation for their viewing purpose, and they can do their coming from here are measurement tabs. They can measure the line, angle, curve, and everything, and they can do the virtual surgical planning. So this is one of the interesting case study that I wanted to share with you. Thank you for listening.